you are going to want to get a pen and paper and take some notes because today I'm sharing every single tip, every single thing that I have learned to help me stop overeating at night. And if you are like me and have the biggest sweet tooth that always kicks in right around 9 o'clock, this is going to help you so much. And sorry if you hear my dog in the background. She has had this habit now of any time I go live, whether it's with a client or these coffee chats or to my team, she stands at my office door and cries till I let her in. So Nala is roaming around the office. So if you hear little puppy feet, ignore her. But today I'm sharing literally every single tip that I've used to help me stop overeating at night. And before we dive into it, I want to make the clarification that overeating occasionally is fine. Everybody does it, right? We just had the biggest overeating holiday ever with Thanksgiving. It happens. It's not the end of the world. It's not a problem. And sometimes it's really good self-care. Making a delicious mac and cheese or enjoying a pint of Ben and Jerry's once in a while when you need that comfort and you just want to watch some Netflix at night, that is totally fine. But I always share this with my clients that there's a fine line between self-care and self-sabotage. If it feels good to you to eat that pint of Ben and Jerry's and watch a Christmas movie and you're going to wake up tomorrow without guilt and there's no negative health effects from it, cool, do it once in a while. But if you're doing it every single night and waking up every single morning tired and bloated and not feeling good about yourself, it's no longer self-care. It's actually self-sabotage, and only you'll know where that line is. So I wanted to start off with that because overeating at night and having snacks and indulging, there's nothing wrong with that. But when it becomes a really bad habit like it was for me, there's a few things you can do to help you overcome it. And like anything I share, there's always a practical side of things and a spiritual side of things. So I'll share the practical stuff, and this is where you're going to want to start taking notes. So get out your pen and paper. And the best tip, and the one thing that's really helped me the past couple of weeks of doubling down on this and getting rid of this bad habit, the one thing that's really helped me is starting to track what I eat. And you know me, I am not for restriction. I am not counting my calories. I am not measuring out food. There is not enough time in the day for me to do that type of crap. I have a freaking life. But I do track my food in a sense that I have my little notebook that you may see me use every single day, and I will write down, for breakfast I had my shake and this high protein bagel that I had, and then for lunch I had a bowl of soup and a side salad, and then blah blah blah. And the thing that helps when you write down what you're eating throughout the day, it helps you be mindful to make sure that one, you're eating enough, because sometimes that could be the thing that's causing you to overeat at night. You haven't had 3 good meals a day or whatever works best for your body. You're not going to know what that is until you track. But by tracking, you can start to see, on days that I skip breakfast, I tend to overeat at night. Maybe if I eat my breakfast, it won't happen as often. Or, on days that I eat Halo Top as my snack, I tend to overeat. And this is something that I learned from tracking. When I have sugar alcohols, which are artificial sugars created that they put in a lot of health foods, they actually make you crave more sugar. So anytime I would have Halo Top, I would always end up eating more of other junk food, basically, because of the sugar alcohol in it, making me want more. So by tracking, you can start to see patterns of when I skip this meal, I tend to overeat at night. Or when I eat this, it doesn't fulfill me and I need to eat more. Or in my case, when I eat this, it makes me crave more. And you only will learn that by tracking. So in my tracker, I'll give you an example. Like, this is what it looks like. I shared this last week, I think, as well. But it's just like 4 slots here for breakfast, lunch, snack, and dinner with little food thing. That's part of the program I'm doing. But literally you just write like breakfast, lunch, dinner, and the time, and you start to learn what works best for your body. And now that you have tracked it and found the pattern, you can start to break the habit. Because so many of us, as the days get shorter and it gets dark at like 4 o'clock here in Vermont, a lot of us tend to start eating dinner earlier in the day because during the summer you tend to eat dinner when the sun goes down for most people. So, if the sun's going down at 4 o'clock, you're having a dinner earlier. And then, by 8 o'clock, you're hungry again and you want to eat something. So by tracking, that helps prevent that. But also it helps you, where was I going with this? I forgot what I was saying. Oh, there's my notes. That'll make it easier. when you're tracking it, you can find this pattern. So if you find the pattern of I'm eating dinner earlier at 4 o'clock, then you can, move your dinner down a couple hours to help prevent it. But also you can start to see of, when I eat my dinner at 4 o'clock, I'm hungry again at this time. What could I do instead other than just move my dinner down? So let's say you already moved your dinner down, which is something that I did. I started eating dinner closer to 7 o'clock-ish, and then I noticed I kind of would just get into this habit of, okay, eat dinner, and now I'm going to go sit on the couch and write a blog or work on a graphic or whatever it may be, and I'd grab a snack to eat while watching TV and doing my blog, even though I just ate dinner and I'm probably not hungry. It was just a habit. It was something that my brain was doing to try to give me a shortcut, and that's all a habit is. Your brain sees that there's this thing that you do every single day, and it's like, okay, cool, I'm gonna make your life easier, and it's just gonna be an automatic thing. So that's why sometimes you find yourself grabbing for stuff in the pantry or looking for stuff in the fridge, or just going into the kitchen when you're not even hungry because you have this habit. So once you find this pattern and you can see that your habit is, well, every day after dinner I always sit on the couch and eat this, or every time on the way home from work I always stop here and eat this, you can now break the habit by simply creating a new one. I find so many people try to break a habit by willpower, and they're like, I'm just not gonna do it anymore. Like, we're not gonna do it, it's gonna be fine. And the problem is, what you focus on expands. So if your whole mindset is, I'm done, I'm not gonna do this again today, like it's not gonna happen, we're gonna be good today, well, you're still giving focus, you're still giving energy to what you don't want to occur. Even if you're saying, I'm not gonna overeat tonight, the universe and energy does not understand the word no. It just understands where your focus goes. So you have to change your focus from I'm not going to overeat to I am going to do this instead. And yesterday, I think on my stories, I shared a bunch of different habits you can pick up that are healthier for you. Like one that I've started doing is doing yoga every single night after dinner. So that way I don't fall into the habit of immediately getting on the couch and snacking. Another one that's helped me a lot is making a giant pot of tea and drinking the entire pot of tea, and then even if I'm hungry after that, then yes, I will have a snack. And I'm not saying like use these tips so you don't eat at night, not at all, but if you have a habit of overeating, which was what my problem was, I would just eat and eat and eat all night. Making that pot of tea, drinking it all, made sure I was fully hydrated, and it helped curb my sweet tooth. So that way, if after I had my dinner and my pot of tea and I did yoga, if I was still hungry at 8 o'clock, it meant, hey, I'm actually hungry. This is physical hunger. It's not emotional. It's not just a habit. I'm actually hungry. What can I go eat? And then I go grab, leftovers from dinner or whatever it is. But if you have this habit of overeating, what could you replace it with? Maybe you walk your dog at night if it's safe to do so where you live and it's still light out. Maybe you come up with a new hobby, like you learn painting or a new instrument, or you work on learning a new language. Or one thing that I was doing a couple weeks ago was I was drawing every single night on Procreate on my iPad. Or like you could get a new video game if you know how to handle yourself with that. I know video game addiction is like a big thing, and it might not be necessarily the healthiest new habit to pick up, but progress over perfection, right? It's healthier for you not to overeat every night. It's healthier for you to play a video game versus not overeat every single night. So find something else you can do to replace that habit, and it gets a lot easier than simply telling yourself, I'm just not going to do this. So find a new habit, and remember it takes a little bit of time to integrate it, right? You didn't start overeating every single night randomly one day. It was a progressive thing that eventually evolved into this habit. Your new habit's going to take some time to evolve, but every day that you commit to it, the easier and easier and easier it gets. And every single day that you track, the easier and easier and easier it gets to start to learn your body and know when you're actually hungry versus when it's just a habit. And that's all the practical stuff. So make sure you're eating enough throughout the day, track your food to make sure you're eating enough, and also see what patterns of, what's not really fulfilling my hunger and what's causing me to eat more, like my sugar alcohol example. Find the pattern and create a new habit. But on the spiritual side of things, there's a few things that you could also integrate, which have helped me immensely. And everything practically I learned from the nutrition course I'm taking, all the spiritual stuff I've learned along the way, and I hope it is as helpful to you as it is to me. So one thing is creating a mantra for yourself when you feel like just overeating, and as you start to track it and start to realize your habits, you start to realize it's coming on instead of just showing up in front of your pantry. You'll be more conscious. So one of the things that I've done, and one of the mantras I've been saying, is dinner and done. Dinner and done, go look for other fun. Dinner and done, go look for other fun. So again, after I finish dinner, clean up, make my pot of tea, go do my yoga, find something else to do. But just simply saying it helps integrate it into your mind, right? A belief is just a thought that you've thought enough times. That's why we have mantras. That's why we use affirmations. That's why we do EFT tapping, which I love using as well. I start telling myself, dinner and done. We don't need to have a dessert tonight. We don't need to snack tonight. We don't need to overeat tonight. We can simply have our dinner and watch something on the couch or play a game or do whatever hobby I want to do, and it doesn't have to center around food. And if you have struggled with overeating at night, I know how hard it can be to overcome, but also how easy these steps may seem. And that was something that I thought a lot of, well, that's just simply too easy. That's not going to work. It's way too easy. But if you actually try it, I promise it will work. So do all the practical stuff. And then on the spiritual side, start creating mantras and also start visualizing your healthy self. This is something I tell all of my clients to start doing every single morning. Visualize going through your day as your healthiest self. What time do you wake up? What do you eat for breakfast? What workout do you do? How do you get movement throughout the day? What do you wear? What do you do for a living if you were your healthiest self? What do you have for dinner? Where do you buy your food? What's always in your fridge? What do you stock up on? What do you do at night? What's your hobbies? Start to visualize your healthiest self, because again, it's ingraining in your brain that this is who I am now. This is what we're doing, and it makes it a little bit easier to make that change. And then the last thing to do, and these are 2 journal prompts for you, so make sure to write these down. And these 2 journal prompts are getting to the root of why you're overeating at night. Because for some people, it's just a bad habit they've fallen into. For other people, it's an emotional response to something they don't want to deal with. Because at night, we finally calm down. We're not busy at work or busy taking care of the kids or whatever else is going on. Our brain finally calms down, and it's like, okay, we have these emotions that we don't want to deal with. What can I do to avoid them? And that's sometimes what overeating is. It's trying to avoid an emotion. So 2 questions that are really great to ask yourself, and write these down, is number 1, where else in your life are you restricting? If you're restricting yourself from love, if you're restricting yourself from having fun, if you're restricting yourself from relaxing, you may let yourself go in other areas. Everything has a balance. If you're restricting in one area, you're going to make up for it in another by cutting loose. So ask yourself, is there another area of your life where you're restricting? And then secondly, actually I have 3 journal prompts for you, but secondly, what memories of food do you have growing up? What memories of food do you have growing up? Maybe when you were younger, maybe you had a bad home situation and you didn't like having sit-down family dinners, so you always snuck down later in the night to eat. And now that's just an emotion you don't know how to deal with at night, so you, again, eat at night just like you did as a kid. Or, maybe there can be a million backgrounds, but just looking at what memories of food and nutrition and health do you have from growing up can help you start to pinpoint your reaction and relationship with your food and your health and your body now. And that's a great question to just ask in general for everybody. Everybody has their own unconscious bias when it comes to their health and their body. Do you hear Nala shaking? Everybody has their own memories and limiting beliefs when it comes to their health. So looking at what you were taught as a kid can really help you change all of those limiting beliefs and patterns, and maybe recognize I do this weird thing, and then you finally connect to why you do it. And then the last question I have for you. Nala, don't. She's trying to eat a thing of incense. What was our last question for you? Oh, last question for you. Now she's under my desk. If you were to not struggle with overeating every single night, how would that feel? Start painting the picture of how it would feel to overcome this and not have it be a struggle anymore, and not have it be something that's taking up your life. So write down those 3 journal prompts, take some time to go through them, and integrate these little things that I've shared, because like I've said, they've helped me a lot with overcoming, an unhealthy habit, and whether it's overeating or binge drinking or whatever unhealthy habit you're trying to overcome, these tips work for everything. Start to track it and find the pattern in it. Integrate a new habit instead of the old one. Stop focusing on the old habit, just focus on integrating a new one, because what you focus on expands. Start visualizing and affirming how you want to feel, and when you're ready, do the inner child work of where is this coming up? What did I learn as a kid about this? What emotions am I trying to suppress? And see what's there, and keep coming back to the process. Keep affirming it, keep visualizing it, keep doing your new habit. It's something that's going to take some time to integrate, like anything in life. So give yourself some grace and give yourself the time to grow, right? A flower doesn't grow overnight. You're not going to grow into your healthiest self overnight either. It's going to be a gradual thing. So give yourself the grace and the time and the space to do so, and also give yourself a little extra love. It has been a crazy effing year for a lot of us. The holidays are never an easy time, and it's not easy with it getting darker out either. So really be gentle with yourself throughout this process, and know that I am always here for you if you need someone to talk to, if you need, just someone to listen. My inbox is always open. But I believe in you. You got this. Integrate these tips. Let me know if they help. And I will see you for next week's coffee chat.